Hello and welcome to IT Chronicles 10 in Tech. I'm Carlos Casanova. I'm here with my cohort, Kathleen Wilson.
Hello.
And we're here at Freshworks Refresh 19 conference. And our guest today is Gaurav Sharma from JustCall. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So my understanding of JustCall, it's a voice over IP, and I don't want to downplay what it is, right? But voice over IP solution for a lot of small businesses that you're kind of targeting. Tell us a little bit about what that is for maybe those that aren't that familiar with that type of solution, and why organizations are moving towards this sort of platform solution rather than the traditional PBX type things.
So I think the VoIP is actually the medium. It's not the solution.
Sure.
Like I'm doing an internet commerce business, so it's internet is not the business. It's the medium, right? So VoIP basically it takes the control of your communications, and you can do a lot of things around those communications. When you pick up your landline phone, you can't do much with it. You can know what the people are doing. So when your team starts growing, you need to have more control over what's happening. So that's where the VoIP or the cloud phone system comes in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what other, I guess, I don't want to say services because that's more of a weighted term, but what capabilities are they able to leverage with that sort of platform?
Sure. So VoIP or phone system has a use case in both sales and support. In sales, you can do outbound calls, right? And you can track how your sales folks are doing. So you can track those. In terms of support, you can distribute your incoming calls. You can automate a lot of stuff around that. You can train your folks by listening to the calls, what's happening right now. You can monitor the calls. And obviously, you can integrate with all the CRMs that you have so that your agents don't have to punch in every time. You don't have to ping them all the time, like, hey, punch in the call. So it brings the automation, it brings the process in.
Yeah, because a lot of organizations that do support, the group that usually manages the telephony is a completely separate group. And back in the days, and it's many years ago, it's just like trying to extend things through your PBX, ACDs, call routing, being able to drag. So I assume the software has a capability. You can drag and drop from busier queues to less voluminous queues, and then you can also get talk time, all these other metrics in a single system.
Exactly. That's a very important point, actually. So earlier, you used to have this hardware to set up, and you required engineers for everything. You want to route the calls in different ways, call the engineer, he'll come, 3 days will take, and it's gonna take a time, right? Now with cloud, you can do everything there itself instantly, and you don't need engineers. Your sales folks, your support folks, they can do anything they want, the way they want their workflow, their business, their call flow to go. They can just configure it instantly. It happens, changes instantly. So that sort of serves the purpose and saves a lot of cost. So small businesses who couldn't afford this thing earlier, now they can, because it's cost like a few bucks a month per agent, and it's done.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, and I'm going back many years, is an ACD was just a few years. I'm not that old, but an ACD system would start at about $250,000 Canadian. The other thing is because it's a cloud-based solution, organizations can expand very quickly as well, or collapse, right? So it's like, I want to do single call center. So it's the idea is that you can drag and drop basically and recreate, outbound or inbound calling organizations with this.
I mean, that's the sort of theme that we are banking on, remote. Every team is becoming remote. For example, we hire people in 10 countries. So how do you handle that? You can't set up call centers everywhere. And as mentioned, $250K, yes, but we have reduced the cost by 1,000 times. Now you pay us $25 a month for agent, and you're done.
Right.
Right.
So I guess I would think I think that's a key point. We see every organization becoming more and more diverse from a location perspective, less central office space and whatnot. But myself, from a customer perspective, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't want to know that I spoke to you 5 minutes ago, and then the next person I spoke to is halfway around the world or whatnot.
Yeah.
So it masks. I would suspect that it really masks all of that capability from the customer, because again, and we've spoken to other folks about different channels.
Yeah.
So this really just hides all of that, which it should, right?
I'll give you a funny example here. So we work with one of the biggest pizza chains in Canada. So when you make a call for a pepperoni pizza, the call actually goes to either Ukraine or Philippines, because that's where people are sitting and taking your calls.
Right.
And that has been enabled by cloud telephony, right? It would have been possible because of that, without of that, right? So yeah, that's a very valid and important point in that sense.
Is that how you get the like really spicy one versus the not so spicy one?
Yeah, well, we also have Canadian pizza. We put bacon on it as well.
Bacon's good.
Yeah,
Bacon's
that's
good.
it.
But I would think the Philippines one's going to have extra peppers.
It probably would. But then you brought up an interesting point too, is like, you know, you could, an organization can bring on a new customer base which has a language consideration, right?
Absolutely.
You know, like, and the idea is that, you know, you could leverage an existing call center that would possibly be able to speak, like in Canada, we have to have French,
Yeah.
right? We have to
Yeah.
have French support desks. And this pizza chain that you're talking about is like people have to be able to speak French
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they order a pizza.
Yeah, and we've talked about some of the infrastructure restrictions. I mean, that pretty much, outside of you have good connectivity.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's just
Yeah.
sort of the baseline for everything. So
Yeah.
you can, if you take on a new area, you can go hire literally 2 people in some far off country to get
Exactly.
that native language issue.
Exactly.
You know, and obviously in this day and age, there's a lot of baggage with people, worrying
Yeah.
about dialects and this and that. So you can actually really cater to, per customer, per business perspective. all the
Exactly.
time.
And adding to that, VoIP or cloud phone system is not only about voice or calls. It's also about SMS.
Yep.
It's also about fax. So often people miss out on SMS, and we were even not a believer of SMS, but when we started the company and we started getting requests, businesses are really doing well on SMS.
Yeah.
So our focus has always been on that.
Right.
So there's a lot of automation around voice plus SMS that's happening, like SMS bots, bulk SMS campaigns.
Right.
You make a call goes well, you can trigger a SMS after that.
Yep.
So these are all things which were possible only for the big companies earlier.
Right.
Now small companies can also do that.
Like you look at fundraising efforts for small not-for-profits. They spend a lot of time with outbound calling, and then you could SMS somebody with a link and saying,
Yep.
please contribute, donate here.
Yeah.
So as you said, it's
Yeah.
now you don't need to basically have engineers on site. You don't need to have that
Yeah.
capability or
Yeah.
expertise, and then you're now hiring as a service. It's a complete solution.
And when we were doing some estimation, we figured out that by using cloud phone system, you're saving 375 hours per year per agent. You're saving $8,000 in terms of fee, whatever salaries you pay to your agents. That's what you're saving. That's the sort of hours you're saving. So let's say 375 hours. If your salespeople make more calls in those 375 hours, you sell more, right?
Right, right. Yeah, and I think that's the big thing too. Is having worked for a lot of small organizations, there's certain things that you'd love to do, but they're just cost prohibitive to get into it.
Yeah.
So now, it sounds like there's really a lot more opportunities to get some of these, fancy schmancy kind of things, which really are just
Yeah.
bread and butter.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
But as a small business now, you actually have the opportunity to get some of those capabilities, which is really big.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm really passionate about like voice over IP telephony and using more modern capabilities for organizations to deliver better customer service. So again, thank you very much for coming and spending some time with us to give us a little bit more information on JustCall.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks a lot. It was fun.
That was
you.
great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.